So good morning, everyone. Today we're going to learn how to make hand-formed earrings like these and these, and also the tulips and the flower stems. The same concepts can be applied to these earrings that I'm going to post as a set with a necklace on the Etsy shop this afternoon. But we're going to start with just some of the basics here. So the first thing you need to know is what you need to do this. So you're going to need your preferred glue. I use All Craft glue. You can see it here. You can buy it at Cerulean Tides. I also use a product called Same Stuff that you can get on Amazon or through Micromark directly. But it is a plastic welder, so it works really well, and it comes with like a little brush, and it doesn't leave any residue. The other thing that you might want is this 4-sided cube that I got on Amazon, and I'll include the link in our Facebook group. And it comes with 2 daubers like this, and then this wood block. Of course, you'll need your heat gloves, your heat gun, and you'll need 1/8 and 1/16. You can do them totally with 1/8. I just prefer to mix them because the weight is affected. So if you use a 1/16 thickness with a 1/8 thickness, then the earring is just a little bit lighter. The clue here is that if you're using 1/16, don't use your 1/16 for the piece that's going to be bent. Use it for the base if there is one. So on some of the earrings you won't be able to do that with. But anyway, so let's get started. We'll start with maybe the tulip. We'll start with the tulip earrings that have a stem, and then they have this inner circle here. And I'll show you those first. And earrings are really quick to make because you're just heating such a small surface. But of course you'll need to put on your heat gun, your heat gloves, and you'll need your heat gun. And as usual, I use a medium setting and a high fan setting. So the first thing I do here is I just lay my piece across the top of my block. Go ahead and turn on my fan, again, medium, high, and high fan setting. And then you're just gonna kind of blow this for just a few minutes. It doesn't take long. You can feel it as it starts to heat up. Now we just sort of go in circles, and you can press it every once in a while, and then you can start to feel when it's getting soft enough, and you can see I'm able to press that almost all the way down. So once I've done that, the first thing I'm going to do is slide the flower onto the base, okay? And then I'm going to put this little ring in the center there. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold in the edges of the tulip. Okay, and you'll notice on the file that one set of edges is thinner than the other, and that's because when you fold the second set in, okay, you're gonna sort of lean that against it, so it makes kind of a square, and you're gonna hold it tight there and press just for a little bit, long enough to get cool. And the little circle that you put in the center is really gonna prevent you from pressing too far. So it's sort of there as a mold, but it also helps give you some uniformity on your earrings. Once you've done that and let it cool for a little bit, and I'd keep your fingers on it while it's cooling, like that, then you can let it go and you've got a tulip. Now there's a little hole in the top of the stem that you can use to attach your connector, whichever you might use, or a wire or whatever. So again, you want to get it as close together as possible here, and that is your tulip earring. That's it, right? So and if it's right, then that little circle won't fall out of the center. So you just want to make sure that that's nice and snug up against the circle, and now you've got your tulip earrings. And at the end of the day, of course, they look like this. Okay, so the next set is going to be probably the most popular earring so far is the hibiscus. So this one's a little bit more fragile, so we want to be a little bit more careful. We're not going to heat it very long, and in fact I'm going to take off my gloves to mold it. So I'll show you what that looks like. So again, I'm going to put it in the center of this. You don't have to do this. You can actually lay it flat on your board if you want. And then you're going to heat it a little bit, and again, it's not going to take very long. I mean, literally seconds, pretty much. And then the goal here is to keep one edge flat enough so that you can glue it against your earrings. And so then you're gonna just fold up your edges like this and sort of hold it there tight. Keep your flower stem. And you'll notice I'm keeping this edge flat because this is the edge that I'm actually going to glue to the base, right, which is the leaves. And if you'll look, you see it just took me a second. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to glue that flat edge to the base. And that's it for that. Super easy, okay? And of course, when you're done, you get these, okay? You can attach a connector, whichever it may be, or a wire, depending on the length or the size or whatever. But again, it just took seconds to do that. So that is your hibiscus. The next set we're gonna do is the stacked floral, which looked like this in the video, okay, that you saw. And what you're gonna do here is you have 4 pieces. You're gonna have the leaves on the bottom, okay? Then you're gonna have your base, okay? Then you're gonna have this top piece that you're going to heat and mold and then ultimately glue here, okay? And then you'll have those. But before I start, what I did is I glued this center dot onto the flower that I'm going to bend. And that'll actually give me a little bit of a guide as to how far I wanna bend these in. So again, we're gonna put it in the mold. We're gonna go ahead and heat this up, and this won't take long either. See that. And if you want to make it real simple, you could just take your dauber and press down in the center here like that, then take it out, and then you're going to basically just start folding in the edges with your fingers like this. The one key here is that you want to make sure that you have a nice flat back so that you can glue this on to the back of your earrings. So what I do is I just tend to bend them a little bit with my fingers like that. And you want to work pretty quickly if you can. Make sure you have a flat surface by pressing it down. And then when you're done, you're gonna glue that piece to this. You're gonna glue the back to your flower, and you'll get your earring here. And there's a little hole so that you can use, again, a connector or a wire. All right, and so the last pair is gonna be the stem flowers. So again, you're gonna have a stem. You'll have your piece that you're going to bend. I glued on the center dot, and then you're gonna have the base, which has the hole in it for the wire. So does the stem, and I'll show you that in just a second. So on this one, what I'm gonna do is start with the base. Again, heat it, wear your gloves. And once you think you have it warm enough, and you can tell again by pressing against it, you're going to fold up your edges of your earrings, again, using that center as a kind of a guide, and then making sure you have that flat surface by pressing it against something. Okay, use your fingers to fold those in. It can still be pretty warm, so just be careful, and then just make sure that you press it so that you have that flat surface. Then you're going to glue this onto this piece here, okay? And then you're going to basically attach the base to a wire, okay? And then you're going to attach, to a jump ring, and then you're going to attach the back piece to that jump ring as well. And again, this will already be glued on. Now the key here is if you're using 1/8 material for both the stem and the base, you're gonna need about a 10 to 12 millimeter jump ring, because otherwise they won't lay flat against each other. So you'll notice here, I used a 10 or 12 millimeter jump ring so that they lay flat. Otherwise, they'll sort of sit out at an angle. So 12 millimeter jump ring gives you enough width. If you don't use 1/8 for both pieces, and say you use 1/16 for this or 1/16 for the base, then you can use a smaller jump ring. And that's it for that. And then lastly, you can apply those same concepts to these sets that I'm going to be listing as well. The difference here is that there's really no hand bending. Everything I do with this mold. I stick the flower in, I heat it, and then I press the daub. Then I stick the middle flower in, I heat it, and I press with the daub. Again, having glued on that center dot. And then I glue them together, and then that's it. So you can use, like I said, the same concept with every kind of folded earring. Some of them are going to be trickier than others, but just make sure that you're mindful of how you're going to glue it on, right? And make sure that you leave enough of a surface for the piece to attach to. So one thing to keep in mind when you're selling these are fragile. These are not intended to be thrown in a purse. Think of them as works of art, which is how I like to think of them, because they are. So just keep that in mind when you're selling them, and just, you know, display them as such, as something special and as something fragile. And I think they'll be a big hit for you. So again, this is what we did today, and there'll be more coming. These files are listed already. The necklace sets will be listed a little bit later today. Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.